Does this stay up here? Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to offer my condolences to the Sanders family for the passing of Coach John Sanders. I was a very young coach here at Nebraska, and he was our men's baseball coach at the time, and we shared facilities for about 5 years together. So sad day in Husker baseball and in Nebraska athletics. So just wanted to start with that. The other thing I wanted to start with is that we're eager to get our season started. We've been really fortunate to be outside. I think with anybody that's about ready to start their season, there's a lot of anticipation and excitement. I will say with this season, the excitement is a calm excitement. I feel like this team has worked differently than we have in the last few years, and they have earned the right to take the field with confidence coming into this weekend.
In what ways have they worked differently? How does that compare to years past?
Well, so there's many things, and I've talked about some of it before, but it really started last summer when the NCAA extended our ability to do some things virtually, and we've been working really hard with not only rebuilding our culture, but setting a standard for the culture, really driven by the players. And I think you saw that the captains were announced yesterday, and they really led the way, and they led the way all summer, and that's part of the reason that they were announced as captains. But then the other thing that we've been very active and proactive about is talking about leadership and helping define it and helping grow it, not just saying, oh, they're a natural leader, because they do have some natural leadership skills, but like any of us that do anything that we have a trade, we need to train it and we need to stay on it and stay with it, and they've done a nice job. So those first two things have really laid a template for what we're trying to build, and build slowly, methodically, with a good foundation that's sustainable.
What do you think the strength of the team this season is going to be?
So I would say from an emotional, mental standpoint, the things that I just spoke of with the culture and the leadership. I think as far as physically, we're experienced on the mound. We've got a lot of returning players that, although they haven't played a traditional non-conference, those sophomores, many of them that are going to be seeing a lot of playing time, had 44 games against Big Ten opponents last year. I think that's going to help. I think really, the thing that I think is our cornerstone is that we're really not young, even though we might start up to 5 sophomores. That a lot of them had significant playing time last year.
Any of the freshmen, do you think, will crack the lineup at all?
We just have 2 freshmen on our active roster this spring, and both of them are going to serve more in role play they're both catchers, and Ani Rayleigh is going to really anchor behind the dish, but I think that they can come in and have some substantial time to give her a break from behind the plate. But I don't see our freshmen, really playing maybe like, some years they do. Like last year they did.
Speaking of Billy Andrews, last year had a really good year, was all Big Ten. As a freshman, how have you seen her game elevate here over the past year?
I think the way that you are going to see her game elevate, it might not even be in the statistical column. It's more of how she's matured and how she's working. She's so competitive that sometimes the competitiveness, tips over and becomes frustration. And I think she's managing that better. She's got a better skills at handling when she doesn't have success, because she wants to win so much for the team. So sometimes if she didn't have success offensively, she would take that to defense. I think you're going to see her flip that switch a lot quicker, and that's going to help her just be more consistent.
How did you coach that last year?
Well, she's worked on it a lot with our hitting coach, Diane Miller, because a lot of her frustration comes from the offensive side. In high school, you can hit 550, and you come to college and think you're going to do that. And when you hit 300, you think you're a failure. And so just learning to manage even the difference in the numbers and the productivity, and understanding what the metric is for success in Division I. I mean, I think she hit 317 last year and did a pretty nice job there at the top of our lineup.
That group of sophomores, how eager are they, and the coaches as well, to see them take that next step?
They're extremely eager. I talked about the summer and I talked about the captains, but many of them were involved in a lot of our Zoom dialogue as well, and there's been a lot of growth and then a lot of work that they've put in. And one of the things I'll say right now is this might be a surprise to everyone, so I'm just going to announce it today. Our starting center fielder is going to be Brooke Andrews. So, yeah, I see some eyes there. So she was told yesterday, and she has, here's what happened. Sid Gray went down with a knee injury last year. Brooke is a really great athlete, came in and played a solid third base for us. As Sid and Brooke came back this fall, they both have been they're both 2 of our top 8 offensive producers. So it's like, okay, how do you keep both those bats in the lineup? So literally when Sid came back, put Brooke, that's what I'm talking about. Put Brooke in the outfield one day, and Lori, who coaches our outfield, after the first day we looked at each other and went, we have something here. I mean, she just is really natural out there. And so that's probably going to be, and she literally is a redshirt sophomore. I think Abby Squire has worked her tail off. Caitlin Neal, KK Kinney, and on down we go.
Where can Courtney Wallace take her game in her final year here?
So Courtney had a really nice year last year, but nowhere was she satisfied. And, she and I had a discussion the other day, and she said, where do you think what do you think I need to do to take my game to the next level? And I really think for her, it's just a mindset. She needs to trust the work that she's done. She needs to believe that she's good enough. She runs the ball up in the upper 60s, and you equate that to a baseball reaction time, that's upper 90s in baseball. And she's really been working on her off speed. So for her, if she can continue to locate like she has been in our head-to-head and get that off speed going, I think she takes her game to the next level. I think you're going to see an all-conference performer on the mound.
When she came here, I know you don't want to speak for her, but do you feel like she put a lot of pressure on her to kind of live up to everything she did in high school?
I think anybody that comes from the state of Nebraska and then puts Nebraska on their chest and plays it here at the university puts pressure on themselves, and they have to work through that. And I think it happens at different rates for different players. Some it's in their freshman year. For Billy, it might be in her sophomore year, because now you've got the high school and then you've got the first team all conference. I think it comes at different times, but it would not be accurate if I said she didn't have to deal with that. But I haven't really talked to her too much about that either.
How important was it to get Olivia Farrell back for her 5th year from a performance standpoint on the field, but also the leadership role off the field?
Yeah, that was a happy day when she said yes to come back. Liv is really the epitome of the work ethic that we're really trying to build our culture around. And there's never been a stone unturned in her whole career here about getting herself prepared to be her best, whether it's with her nutrition, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's her pitching, whether it's just taking care of her body. She's always been at the highest level and really done an excellent job with that. So just to have that role modeling, number one, for our team, and number two, to have that experience on the mound is really important as we head into this year.
Do you see Liv and Courtney taking up most of the innings, or do you think Caitlin or some others will be able to step up and help you there?
Liv, Courtney, and Kaylin Kinney are all right now. They're really interchangeable, and I'll tell you, I won't roll out the starts, but all 3 of them will get a start in the first 3 games. And that's how much confidence we have in all 3 of them.
Rhonda, you guys practiced outside on the first day, and the weather's been unseasonably warm over the past week. Have you had more outdoor practices before a season opener than you've ever had in your coaching career? Is that fair to say, or do you know a time where it's been like this?
Undoubtedly. And the fact that we've, there have been times that we've been outside, but because of the ground, we haven't been able to get on the dirt because the thaw and the unthaw, but we've actually been on the dirt this week. And it's been, and now we're going to go play indoors, but undoubtedly it will help us down the road. It's been great. I was just talking earlier, to have outfielders be in the dimensions of an actual field, playing with a fence and a sky, just for them alone, it's so worth it. Just to put on our cleats and know if you're going to get a blister and how to work through that, because we're not in cleats indoors. So just so many things that go into playing into your confidence in your psyche like you're ready. I think that's really important. We're going to actually scrimmage today, so it'll be fun.
There is great irony. So you guys started the year inside. It's
I
like
know.
a cruel joke, isn't
I
it?
know.
How nice is it just last year was just an all-conference schedule, now you get back to a normal schedule? How much are the players kind of embracing being able to see teams from different parts of the country, or just kind of the non-conference schedule?
I think they're really looking forward to it. And that sophomore class, think of them. They didn't have normal travel last year. You know, we went to Florida twice, and then we kind of went about our business. But so for them, it's like their first year of having a regular season of travel. So that's really fun. And I was actually thinking about it this morning too. It's been almost 2 years since we've played a non-conference game. And that's refreshing too, just to be able to see other teams.
And I guess that's kind of what I was gonna ask you about. How does that non-conference, schedule, especially early on, prepare you for the teams?
I think we've set up a really nicely balanced and competitive conference schedule. Just even this weekend, the fact that 5 teams that we play are all very competitive, and 3 of them were in the NCAAs last year, and all 3 of those teams that were in the NCAAs have all their arms back. So we're going to face good pitching right out of the gate. I think that's really important as we go down the stretch. So I feel like this schedule is set up to challenge us early, but also give us an opportunity to really grow some confidence, especially if we have some success over those teams that have already been in postseason as recently as last year.
Has this offseason been easier from a COVID standpoint since we've returned slightly more to normalcy?
Yeah, it for sure has been easier. Number one, we're just a little more used to some of the protocols that we lived through the year before, and they weren't quite as stringent. So we were able to get to do things sooner than we were last year. Our student athletes aren't testing 3 days a week. The testing protocols are a bit different. So the rigors have lessened some. So we've been able to just focus a little bit more on the game itself.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
Next, we'll have Courtney Wallace.